Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we have some very special guests joining us. You can start, ladies first, introducing yourselves.
Nita the Diva from Washington, D.C.
My name is Khadijah from Rewind That with Miss K. I'm originally from Brooklyn, but I live in South Jersey.
Okay, and fellas?
I'm Brandon. I'm coming from Sacramento, California.
I'm Ron H, but as you can see, it says the whole name there. But either way, from WB, Brooklyn.
All right, well, welcome everyone. So excited to have you because we do have a very special guest joining us today for a roundtable discussion. So Ron, would you like to bring our guest in?
Yay!
Oh, hello.
Hello there.
What's happening?
Hi, so everyone, this is our surprise guest. If you don't know, this is Omar Dorsey. He has been in a number of television series and films, two of which we recap on the show, Queen Sugar, and of course, Raising Kanan. So we are so excited to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and you are the Omar Dorsey. Okay.
The Omar Dorsey, exactly.
Yes.
Awesome. It is such a pleasure, like I said, to have you. We are very excited to talk and ask you some questions. So if Tiffany, if you don't mind, would you like to kick us off?
Yes, I am so excited to have you on the Spot Real Talk, and not to be confused with the Real Spot. Because we are Queen Sugar fans too here. Well, my first question to you about Cartier, I kind of want to know his backstory, because I caught that line with Rock about he's basically cleaning money through the art gallery.
For
so
sure.
I'm like, is he a kingpin, or is there something more? That's something you can't give that away. I'm like, he's obviously doing something.
Yeah, he's obviously doing something for sure. And Rock said it. She's like, man, you ain't fooling nobody with that accent, man. Yeah, I know where you from. I'm from Queens, outside Jamaica, whatever she says. But he's an international man of mystery is what I like to call him. You don't really know what he does until you find out what he does. And you're like, oh, wow. Because everybody was automatically thinking like, oh, he must be like a Suge Knight type dude. Like, nah. No, he ain't that. You know what I'm saying? Just because he got them big old suits on, it's not that. But Cartier he's a fun character because he's so gregarious, and I get to say Shakespeare and stuff, and I haven't said Shakespeare in like a decade. So when I read the script, I was like, oh, I love this. This is like right up my alley. But yeah, he's just this. He's an enigma, and we're going to start unraveling some of that stuff. It's going to be like an onion. We're going every episode from now on, we'll just keep peeling back more.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's super dope. And
yes.
So I also have a question for you in regards to Raising Kanan, because I want to know what made you want to get involved with this series, because it's a little switch up from, I think, what we're used to.
You know what? I used to be on a show called Ray Donovan. And a lot of people, they're so used to seeing me as Hollywood. I was like, I used to be the most hated person on television. So I was like, now I'm the most loved person on television. And I was a Harriet, and I was the most hated person in the world. But what it really was is one of the executive producers, one of my best friends, his name is Mike Flynn. He called me and it was like, yo, we had this character that, we sort of created, and, you're the only person we thought about it, playing it. And I knew that Patina was in it, and I was really wanted to work with Patina really bad. We were supposed to do a show on Broadway together, probably about, I guess I'm on here, about 3 or 4 years ago. It's me, her, and Jonathan Major was supposed to do a show on Broadway about 3 or 4 years ago, and it fell through. But she was playing my girlfriend in the play, and I said, man, our chemistry was so good. She's such a great actress.
He is.
And when I started watching the show, it's such a turn from what she really is. This is a girl from South Carolina.
And we had the pleasure of meeting her at the premiere too.
Yeah, man. So she's playing this character, And I said, I really want to go and rock and roll with her for a little while, for a few months, and see, how we can work that out. So she was a big selling point on it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome that they had you specifically in mind for that role too.
Yeah.
That speaks a lot about your work.
Hey, that's a blessing, man.
Yes.
It is, yeah, for sure.
Yes, and Ron, gonna come your way.
Yeah, I got one good question that you must answer later, but this one, I saw in an interview where you considered your character Cartier as a puppet master. Now, I think actually that's an understatement.
Right.
But tell me, what did you mean by that exactly?
It's you remember the scene between Lulu and Cartier?
Yeah.
When he bought him the equipment, and he's just in his ear, man. He's telling the man what he wants to hear, just so that he can slide into that world also. But he's also telling Rock what she wants to hear, so he can slide into her world in more ways than one. You might think, oh, he's trying to get some booty or something, but it's bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. And you're thinking about it from a man's point of view, a man's perspective. And it's like, look, man, this dude is about making this bread, and he wants to have as many people, on his fingertips as he can, like a puppet master, like a god, like the Godfather. He wants to have that, and he sees that in this family.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me find out you can really try to take that studio from Lou.
Man,
You better not.
Cutthroat game they playing there.
Yes. Money, man. His sister ain't giving him no money. He needs some money from somewhere.
Right. All right, Nita, we want to come your way. Do you have a question for Omar or a comment?
Well, he kind of touched on it just a little bit. He was saying, I'm talking about the booty, but I was wondering, are we going to see more of that? Is that going to be like a love interest that's going to kind of blossom, or is it just strictly business with Rock?
I mean, she's Cartier, she's a beautiful woman, and Cartier is a man, right? He's gonna, look, he gonna shoot that shot. He's gonna be Steph Curry out there. We'll see where it lands. But yeah, they get close. They get a lot closer. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Rock is a dangerous woman. I'm trying to find out how dangerous Cartier is.
Listen, man, Rock. But see, the thing about it is, I don't think Cartier knows how dangerous and like calculating of a woman Rock is. All he sees is a beautiful woman. Oh, and she's selling dope. Oh, okay. But he doesn't know that this woman is like Lady Macbeth. You know what I'm saying? He has no idea about that. But he learns, during the season, he's gonna learn more and more about her, and it's gonna intrigue him.
Does that mean that
pardon?
I'm sorry. It just made me think, does that mean that your character is dangerous too, or no?
Yeah, he's dangerous. I don't know, man. We'll see. Yeah, he ain't no punk. Punk. He did not get to where he was with being people walking over him. I'll say that.
Okay. All right. Let's jump to Khadijah. Do you have a question or comment?
Yes, thank you so much, and wonderful meeting you, Mr. Omar. So I'm glad that you are keeping this mystery about him, because till now I don't know which team, I don't know if he's good or bad, and I think that's really interesting. So I'm glad that we're going to be pulling back some layers as we go along. And you said she kind of called him out like, oh, I know all about you. She said Fort Greene, by the way, and that's in
Fort Greene. She did say Fort Greene. Yeah.
Right. So I'm wondering, because I'm from Brooklyn, so I know Fort Greene.
That's BK all day. Yeah.
Right. And I'm wondering.
I be having all these different lines in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's this? Yeah. Okay. That's what Fort Greene. Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's gonna play a big part as well, because we know they kind of have these rivals with Brooklyn and Queens. But my biggest thing is watching you as Hollywood and then seeing you as Cartier, right?
Yeah.
Is there a role that you have not been able to conquer yet and that you want to in the future?
There's so many roles I want to do. But okay, to go back to the things about the rivalries, Cartier ain't there for the streets. He's not a street guy. What I'm saying? I'll let you know that. That's not what he is. He's much bigger than that. He's I say, he's an international man of mystery. So it's like, you know, the petty things that happen on the street, that's beneath him.
Wow.
So yeah, so he's there to actually to educate Rock a little bit, right? You know, to like, you know, give her some guidance here and there, which is, you know, like if you are trying to become that queen pen and this, that, and the other, and you got rats, you know, chewing through your money, like you need somebody there who's been there before, who can help you out, you know, and give you a little bit of guidance. But yeah, so yeah, the streets, he's not concerned with that at all, you know. Yeah. And as far as you know, yeah, roles I want to play, man, everything. You know, I come from the world of a theater where I was doing 2 plays at a time, you know, so, and all the time. So I'm just so used to just playing different types of roles. You know, that's why I always tried to play something so much different than I was, like for Queen Sugar for the last 7 years. Whenever you see me in anything else, when I was in Genius playing James Cleveland, or, you know, like in Harriet playing Big or Long, or even Cartier right now, you know, and in Hollywood, in the Halloween franchise is playing the sheriff. I just like to play different things all the time because I want people to know I can act. I ain't just one dude, you know, like, oh, that's Hollywood. It's cool. People call me Hollywood. I love it. You know, it changed my life. But I also want people to understand different aspects about, you know, what I can do. Because I came from comedy. I did comedy, you know, forever until like I started working with Ava.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I mean, I did Blindside. I thought I was pretty funny in that, but like honestly, working through you know, working with Ava just, you know, tapped me into more of my dramatic side. Even with my drama, I try to bring levity to it. You know, it's not, I don't try to be so deep all the time. But yeah, it's just, I want to do everything. It's not just one thing. I read a script. I read a script today, and it was tremendous. It's a new TV show. And the creator of it sent it to me, and I was like, "This is amazing." I said, "I want to play but he's like, well, which role? Like, what role talks to you?" I said, "The lead character. The lead character is a white dude, but that's the role that speaks to me." I was like, "He got to be white." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. Change their mind.
Yeah, for sure, all day. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Brandon, how are you today? You want to join in with a question or comment?
Of course. Nice to meet you, Omar. Nice to meet you, man. I'm not as familiar, but you know, you said Ray Donovan, and I caught like a few episodes of that, and now you look familiar. Was you in a boxing gym?
No, I was the bad guy season 2. I was Cookie Brown, like who was like the Suge Knight of Ray Donovan. I was the person who killed. I killed Marvin Gaye Washington, and then I tried to take over all of the music stuff in that world of Ray Donovan. But I was threatening Ray Donovan's daughter because Marvin Gaye was Ray Donovan's daughter's boyfriend, and she was in the car when I killed him, but she was hiding. So the whole season I was threatening him.
Don't tell me, man. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, season 2 for sure. It's really good. Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out for sure. But, yeah, I'm like everybody else. Like, you know, your character just came on Kanan, and it's like you're kind of a mystery. We don't really know, you know, who you are, what you're about, all the way. But I knew you were somebody important because you got the Kanan little voiceover. You know, when
I got the 50 Cent voiceover. I was like, look at that. I feel like giving the voiceover, man.
I was like, yeah, I know he's somebody. But,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was really surprised when I saw that. You know what? But I think that somebody told me that they saw. One of the producers like saw the early episodes, man, and your intro is just so, it's going to be like so huge. And I said, for real. So then when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, bet. I said, yeah, they put some sauce on this thing. Yeah.
Well, one of the things about this show, like this season in particular, the acting has just been so good to me, like across the board. Like everybody's on top of their game, and it's like it's been a pleasure to watch. Like this is different from any other show I'm really checking out right now, just because of that reason. So, can you kind of speak on how the cast kind of helps you elevate this character? Like, you
know, it's just so, I mean, it's great. I'm working with, I know Malcolm May, who plays Lulu. I know him, you know, just because we live in LA for so long, and we ran into each other all the time. He's a younger cat, but he hung with some, you know, like Kofi and some of the younger dudes who I work with. And I was always like, he's a real good kid. I like him a lot. And I started working with him, and his level of professionalism is so high. I was just astonished by it because he's so good. you know, and he's so smooth. I like a really, because I'm not really, I mean, I can talk smooth, but his it's a smoothness that like certain actors have, like Sidney Poitier had this level of smoothness to him, that like that he has, and he's just so good. And everybody around them are you know, just watching London. I know London as a comedian, you know, and then watch the work that he does. It just baffles me, and Joey too, right? So I watched Joey in this. My friends did the one that won the Oscar, the short that Joey was in. Trayvon Free and Nick.
Oh, The Distant Stranger.
Distant Strangers. So my friends did that. I read the script a long time ago. It was during the pandemic, and I said, man, dude, I don't want to see nobody black get beat up by the police no more. But the way that they did it was so good, and I forgot that it was Joey because he was so good. But in this, man, the way that like the way that he says his lines are just. It's just line readers are so good. And I was like, man, this dude been acting for like 30 years or something? Because he's not giving you know, gangster this and the other. He's giving some real nuance to those, to those lines. And you know, what can you say about Haley? I saw her on Broadway when she was a kid, when she was in Once on This Island, and she always resonated with me. And I remember my friend Mike Flan, who was one of the executive producers of the show, he told me everybody who was in the cast, and I was like, so we got this young kid named Haley Kilgore. I was like, yo, that's the girl who was in Once on This Island. I said, man, she was so good, man. I said, like, I knew her career was going to go just fly. But yeah, and then, you know, to top it off, Patina Miller, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, you talking about a Tony Award winning actress who brings so much flavor and so much skill and so much artistry and so much artisan to what she does. Yeah. I mean, these people are acting their faces off, man. It's fun to be able to step in to something. Because sometimes I go on some sets, and look, sometimes I go on sets, man, people aren't good. And it's like, man, I'm gonna do me, and I might be improvising or something to make it sound better. But with this, and the writing is so on point, you know, like my first day, I was there. I was like, yo, I was a little bit thrown because I had all these long, crazy monologues, right? And I was like, yo, okay, let me get it together. You know, so, but from that first day on, you know, we were flying, man.
Yeah, I think that's why it resonates with a lot of people, because like you said, the acting is tight and the writing. So we really appreciate that about the show.
For sure. That writing is amazing. Sasha Penn, a beast.
With a name like Khadijah, you know, that's some expensive merch that I can't afford. So I knew you were going to be a badass when I.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, man. I was like, look at that. Some of those. I was like, I might take some of this stuff home, man. It's the wrong era to be wearing it, but I'm like, I can go do a nice little costume party with this. Right. Cartier, man. Yeah. And they had some really nice, like all the watches, all the stuff was vintage, but it was real, like Rolexes and real, like, you know,
that's Frank Fleming, isn't it? Because he's a beast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah.
He is a beast with the costumes.
Yes. Yeah.
And the wardrobe, and everybody is always.
It's on point, like, because I'm from that era, you know, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this is, this is like how Kanan be dressing. I'm like, this is really how I dressed back then. Like all the stuff, like, because I was around his age, but like what, 91. Like, yo, I was dressing like that for real. Yeah. It's dope because it's so, and I'll tell you another thing. It's just so great to be working with 50 again, because we've been talking about it for like years and years. We did this movie called The Setup together. It was me, him, Ryan Phillippe, and Bruce Willis. And it was probably about 12 years ago. And every time we run into each other, he's like, Omar, we got to find something, man. I said, we got to find something. It's got to come. And then this came through, and it's just perfect.
It is. Yes. And I think we have one last person to get to with the question. Ron H., you have a question or comment?
Yeah, definitely. Once again, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, Omar. Pleasure to see you in person and be able to talk to you. I think the role of Cartier is fantastic for you. I think you're doing a great job at it. And it's funny, when I first saw you come on the screen, I was like, oh, I know that guy. As soon as I saw your face, I was like, I know who that is. But be honest, I've never seen Queen Sugar, and you know, as much as I've heard so much about it, and I always put it in my queue, I never watched the episode of Ray Donovan. So I knew you from prior works.
Oh, word. Yeah.
Everything was comedic to me.
For sure.
So that's how so I was really surprised to see. And I was like, man, he's killing this. I think it's really good. You know, the interesting thing that I look at when I see your character is I'm thinking, if there's anybody that I'd be curious to see the connection with, it's you and Lou. I think Lou should be shadowing you because he doesn't know how to break into this game. And if anybody knows how to handle themselves, it's your character. So I'm wondering, I mean, I don't know if you can speak to it, but I'm wondering if that connection starts to evolve a little bit, because I mean, I like what you're doing and how you're breaking down your character, how you everywhere, you dibbing and dabbling. Right. Lou is one of those who should be trying to dibble dabble in your world more.
For sure, you know, and honestly, I mean, I don't, as much as I can speak to, as much as I can, you know, that is a road that we're going down 100%. You really hit the nail on the head. You know, I think Cartier does want to mentor him. Of course, he wants to get something out of the deal. You know, who doesn't? You know, but and Lou, pardon me, but Lou is really open to the things that Cartier is saying. He bought him a new board. He bought him a sound board. After Macho, you know, just, you know, had to get rid of it, you know, so it's like, no, man, I got you, man. You know, man, I got you, man. So he does listen to him a lot. You know, we were talking about that. I ain't gonna get no spoilers, but yeah, we were talking about that, you know, just the beautiful relationship that those two guys have. And he does start to like feel like a mentor, you know, to Lou. And it's so yeah, you hit that nail right on the head.
Look, I hope so, because Lou has already taken Juke's on.
Right.
And and you're supposed to be managing Zisa. So right. I'm afraid that you might do a side deal or something with Rock and kind of push Lou out of there. I hope you're just a mentor to him, and I hope that he's not getting hacked.
You know, the thing about it is, like, Rossi with Cartier is it's two different worlds, right? Like, to talk to Rock is one thing, because that is one thing. And then to talk to Lou is something else. That's why I said, like, he has his hands everywhere, just everywhere, even in art or whatever it is. Like, you're gonna see some more stuff with him in the art world, you know. You know, more of that is coming up. But yeah, like, so whatever he's doing with Lou, it really, you know, is two different worlds. Him and Rocket, you know, two different things.
Okay.
What I want to go down memory lane with you for a minute, because I want to piggyback on something Ron H said. You had a one line in Drumline. I'm sorry, in Drumline, and it may have been short, but I'm telling you, it was epic. And you said something like "spanking that ass." Now, was that in the script, or was that?
No, it wasn't in the script, man. Straight out. I was in college too. I was in college. I was like, man, y'all gonna let me just go? I was doing comedy at the time. I was like, man, for the last 3 years at the BE Classic, right. I've been spanking that ass. You know what's so crazy? Because people still, that was like 20-something years ago. People still be walking up to me with that. They're like, I like all your stuff you're doing, but you that Drumline, man. I was like, yeah. I was with Nick last week too. I was with Nick Cannon last week, man. That's my dog, man. I was at Wilding Out, man. He was doing Wilding Out. I was chilling with him last week, man.
Yeah,
that's dope. Well, we got to learn today a lot about Cartier, but I just wanted to also congratulate you for your role as Hollywood. I think Hollywood was a very it was a change from what we're used to. He was such a positive Black male figure on TV. And I think it's at a time where like that positive male Black representation is needed. So how does it feel now that that show, Queen Sugar, is coming to an end?
It's bittersweet. It's 7 seasons, but it's so bittersweet because you know what? Playing that character changed me as a man. Because I remember the first season, I was like, ain't nobody this perfect, man. You know, but then like later on, you know, down the line, like maybe season 3 or season 4, especially after the pandemic, I was like, we really need each other as people now. You know, this selfishness and all that stuff has to go out the window. So I was like, we need way more Hollywoods in our world.
Yes.
And so that it's bittersweet. It'll be sad not to go back and revisit that character. But it's and every time, no matter what I'll do, it come back. Episode 1 and the first thing I'm in on Queen Sugar, it just fits like a nice suit. you can just come right back in, you know. I feel like, I honestly feel it's the best Black TV show of all time, man. I mean, I think it's one of the best of all time. You know, drama-wise, I think it is, because it's just so real. It's real people. You're watching like a fly on the wall, watching a real family go through the ups and downs. And it's not so sensational or any of that, man. So, you know, to be a part of that for 7 years, it's just been life-changing. And I'm proud to have done it. And I'm just blessed. I'm blessed from the moment. I remember Ava called me and said, I wrote this role. She said, I wrote this role for you. You know, and I want you to read it and you tell me what you think. And I read it and I said, this is really nice. When do I audition for it? She said, I wrote it for you.
Oh, wow.
So, that's amazing.
And I wasn't even popping. I wasn't nobody back then. You know, I mean, I did Selma with her, but I was coming off of Ray Donovan, but, you know, I was playing a totally different type of character. So it's like, man, she said, this is how I see you. This is the man I see you as. And it's crazy. It's like, wow. Role is the man who I've become more and more like Hollywood, just because playing that role and saying those lines that he says, you know, it gets infectious.
That's a huge compliment then.
It is. It's the biggest compliment, because I feel like, look, man, I think that's like one of the greatest men. I think that's one of the greatest roles.
Listen, on Twitter, you don't know how many women is on there talking about, I'm looking for me a Hollywood.
Like, you don't know. I walk around my life. I walk around in my life.
Myself included.
Yeah, like I walk around my life and they act like I'm Hollywood. I'm like, I'm from Decatur.
Myself included. You
know?
For
sure, man. Like, but it's a tremendous character, man. It is. Just the love that he has for his wife and for his family. And now, like for this season, you'll see it's for his whole community, man. The things that he's doing in the community.
Yes.
Tremendous, man. Yeah.
And it's beautifully shot too. That's one of the things that drew me, not only just the stories and the storytelling, but to see all these beautiful Black people in different hues, especially, you know, our dark complected.
Yeah, me, Rutina, and Kofi, man.
It's beautifully shot.
You know what, man? Our DP, the guy who shoots is Antonio, man, it's ridiculous. If you push pause on it, it looks like a painting. You know, because I'm like, how do they get that effect? But man, it's not an effect. It's just Antonio just is such a tremendous DP. And you know, we got great light people, we got great electrics, man. Those people they created something. If y'all ain't never seen it, fellas, y'all ain't seen the show, man. It's like one of those shows that, like, once you watch one episode, you're gonna be like, you gonna binge it, because it's just so real. And it's just so
we've been watching since season 1.
I know y'all have. I'm talking to the fellas right now.
Fellas, y'all need to watch this show.
I'm gonna check it out.
You'd have to, because one of the things I love most about you and Ralph Angel coming together, because you really educated Ralph, and it was
for sure.
When Ralph did some things that, you know, could have actually sent him to jail. I love that conversation that you had with him. And my question is, will we see some of those gems dropped in PowerBook as well? Because I know you got a whole rack of them. I would love to see that continue.
You know what? I think it's, with Lou, it's crazy, because it's like, you know, with Kofi and Malcolm, you know, Kofi and Malcolm, they roll together in real life.
Oh, okay.
And these young actors, a lot of the young actors, they come to me, and I try to drop gems on them about life. Like, look, y'all already popping in the movies. It don't really matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like with Lakeith, you nominate for Oscars already, man. But like life, about your kids, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, how to balance that thing out. Because trust me, I haven't always been the one to balance it out. So you can learn from my mistakes and my flaws. You know, so yeah, like I try to keep dropping them gems. And so the stuff I'm doing with Ralph Angel on Queen Sugar, the same stuff I'm doing with Lou on Power on Kanan. You know, in a different light, but it's still that dude. Like, man, look, this is. Let me tell you how it's done. I'm a little bit older. You might be 20. I might be 15, 20 years older. Let me drop these jewels on you right quick. Yeah.
Okay. But we do want to be respectful of your time, so we certainly appreciate all that you've done in talking to all of us today.
This was so much fun, y'all. I ain't never had an interview like this before. I like it.
We enjoyed you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're so happy for you for being on Raising Kanan, and we're excited about Queen Sugar too. And we're going to be sorry to see it go.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we really support the real spot too. So
Yeah, I know. I love that when I brought it. Yeah.
Could I ask one messy question, a Twitter type question? This is real quick. It's just a lot of people are curious about Zisa's character and who she's based on. Some people say that you know, she has an Aaliyah vibe to her. Some people say, myself included, that she reminds me of Cassie. You know,
I think
Cassie. So I just wondered, did you know, or does anybody ever say what that character is based on? No.
No, you know, when I was listening to her, because you know she can really sing for real. When I was listening, you know, when we were in the studio and she was really singing, she gave me Aaliyah vibes. I don't know if that's just because that's the way she sings and real airy and high like Aaliyah. But it was yeah, but I don't know. That Cassie might be the one. You know, because Cassie was, you know, always in some mess. So yeah, you know, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for
I don't know.
answering that.
That I don't know.
She can sing, but Haley.
oh my
Haley is a monster. And
Oh my
Latoya
goodness.
Luckett, man, come on now.
Look,
Her
look,
Latoya
they tore
Luckett,
down.
they need to drop an album, yeah, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness, Haley, it moved me to tears. I was like, the Bruce remix is cool, but Haley's version, Jukebox, I mean, that one.
Yeah, Haley's but she a Broadway, you know, she a Tony nominated actress. She is that. That's what she is. I told you I watched her when she was 17, 18 years old, and I already knew. I said, this girl right here has got it. So like ever since I saw her like on Broadway, I just knew she was going to be something special, and she really is. She's an incredible talent.
Last week she could have taken an atheist and made it a Christian. Because
I know. Yeah.
I mean, it got to my toes. I almost started to go back to church.
Man.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Omar. Please drop back into the Spot Real Talk whenever you want to. You have an open invite.
Thank you.
And we will continue to support you in all you do. We are looking forward to seeing all of your future works and the final season of Queen Sugar, like we said.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Omar.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.